ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Women in the Republic of Cameroon are divided over the commemoration of the 34th edition of the International Women's Day, while some are calling for a total boycott of that event in protest to government's failure to solve the deepening Anglophone crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Others are preparing to celebrate. Life is gradually returning to normalcy in Kerawa, in the far north region of the Republic of Cameroon. It is one of the localities hardest hit by activities of militants of the Nigerian terrorist sect Boko Haram. The village had been deserted, but the inhabitants are gradually returning to the village, while non-governmental organizations are stepping up efforts to promote or restore and promote peace in the Republic of Cameroon. Some young people converged on the economic capital Douala today, were equipped with tools to help in efforts to prevent conflicts and of course restore and promote peace in the country by experts from the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom today. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this edition of the news. We begin up north, notably in the far north region of the Republic of Cameroon, a region that has been hit by atrocities committed by suspected members of the Nigerian terrorist sect Boko Haram for over 4 years today, and life is gradually returning to normalcy in the locality of Kerawa, one of the hardest hit localities hit by the Boko Haram atrocities, and that village had been deserted and inhabitants are now gradually returning to the village, and of course a new Lamido has been installed to rule the people. Senazi has more.
They have been for over 6 months without a traditional ruler in Kerawa, far north region, since they lost their ruler, Malaha Tipwe, on the 24th of August 2018. In their multitude, they turn out to witness the election that will project their new leader. Amongst the 4 contenders, all children of the late Malaha Tipwe, Seni Malaha, the youngest of them, emerged victor of the election that Ellis qualified as transparent.
Seni a été élu démocratiquement.
Joy which spread all over the election avenue and across Kerawa. Some of the Ellis expressed satisfaction, saying, Seni Malaha is agent of development and fighter.
Nous tous, nos parents, nos mamans de Kerawa sont derrière Sa Majesté Seni Malaha Buka.
So because he was always beside his father, Malaha Tipwe, who fought Boko Haram.
C'est l'homme qui veut le développement. C'est l'homme qui comprend sa population.
They believe banknotes dished out to the population by the 3 brothers was not answer to development and fight for peace in Kerawa.
Nous ne sommes pas des instruments pour qu'on nous achète avec de l'argent.
Seni Malaha, the new leader of the community, has promised to bring development in Kerawa and continue fighting the Boko Haram barbaric group for the people to live in peace.
Je suis prêt pour faire développer Kerawa. Je suis prêt pour le faire.
The new traditional ruler did not fail to thank all those who voted and supported him to succeed his father.
While calm and life is gradually returning to normalcy in the far north region of the Republic of Cameroon, the socio-political and security crisis hitting the northwest and southwest regions of the country has continued deepening for close to 3 years today. And with regards to what women have qualified as government's failure to solve the Anglophone crisis, some of them have announced and called on other women to boycott the 34th edition of the International Women's Day coming up March 8, and of course they are protesting against the deepening situation in the northwest, southwest regions of the country. Others are, however, preparing to celebrate their day. Details in this report by Fomi Armstrong Sander.
socio-political and security atmosphere in Cameroon has taken center stage on debates, leading to the 34th International Women's Day commemoration in Cameroon. This year's event is coming at a time when rights and stability of women across the country are most threatened. Thousands of them are forced by war to live in extreme dehumanizing conditions in bushes or strange localities in the northwest, southwest, and even the far north region of Cameroon.
The millions of women in the northwest and southwest who are sleeping in the bushes, who are being killed, who are being raped, who have no way to take care of their children. I think people, when you go to northwest and southwest, you see women in tears because they have sat with children in the bush for 2 weeks and have had to have cut leaves to give those children to eat. So we have to stand by those women. We cannot only sit and say, oh, what can we do? It's a horrible situation. This is an opportunity to express to those women that we are with you.
A reality which Edith Kawala thinks that should impose a change and consequently lead to a boycott of government activities organized ahead of 8th March 2019.
Celebration is a good thing, and we need to, in society, celebrate women who are not celebrated enough. However, on this particular day, in this particular moment in the lives of our nation, we need to protest. We must protest. We must say, no, it's not okay. Not okay that our government lined up 2 women and a girl and a baby on the back and shot them. And then lied to us and said, no, it was not us. Then finally, when they could no longer lie, it was them, but they are carrying out investigation. No justice till today for those women. If it's only for those 2 women, that little girl and that baby, we should be in protest.
She thinks that women should rather appear in black on that day to express their dissatisfaction with the state of things across the country.
The situation we are in today is a situation where we must stand up and put on our black on that day in protest and say, no, we are not okay as women. We are not fine.
Chantal Kambiwa of the Social Democratic Front, SDF party, unlike Edith Kawala, thinks that women should rather use the day as an opportunity to push for their rights.
Les gens disent qu'il faut boycotter le pas, il faut pas aller au défilé. Mais le 8 mars ne se réduit pas à un pain. After that, what next?
She believes that boycotting the event or the fabric is not a solution.
Mais est-ce que ça va ramener ces femmes chez elles?
Chantal Kambiwa says women should not be taken hostage for other motives, but rather focus on much work that has been realized at the international level for the amelioration of the rights of women.
Nous avons des hommes qui nous suivent déjà dans ce combat, qu'on a dénommé les Hifoshi.
Marlis Doualabel, CPT and member of parliament, sees the boycott call as a manipulation of women for political gains.
Pour moi, un boycott n'apporte rien.
The CPT and member of parliament says the country must move forward, despite the fact that some women in some parts are caught up in a war.
C'est vrai que ce sont des régions en guerre, mais
she further highlighted that some of the women, especially at the level of parliament, have always tried to seek a solution to the crisis across the country, though women have never really mobilized massively, according to her, to cry against the deepening conflicts in parts of Cameroon. It should be recalled that the Northwest Southwest Women Task Force had indicated in a media outing that they will be boycotting the 34th edition of the International Women's Day commemoration in Cameroon over the deepening Anglophone crisis.
And during the launching of the 2019 edition of the International Women's Day in the Penja in the Mungo division of the littoral region of the country, some of the women expressed their anger, disappointment, frustration and bitterness over the deepening Anglophone situation, and of course notably with regard to the sufferings of women in those parts of the country, as well as children and men who have been killed, who have been tortured, their houses burnt down, villages reduced into ashes. They were speaking, of course, during the launching of the 34th edition of the International Women's Day in Penja. Details in this report compiled by Smanjik and Gabriel.
Les femmes doivent être écoutées. Aujourd'hui, les femmes pleurent, sud-ouest et nord-ouest. C'est juste parce qu'on ne nous écoute pas.
The cry of a woman, days before the celebration of the 34th edition of the International Women's Day, whose regional launching took place at the Njombe Penja subdivision on Monday. The event that was usually a crowd puller witnessed the presence of a timid turnout, something the women try to explain. Maybe it is as a result of the financial situation, but we've done what we can. Also, there is an atmosphere of fear, but we call on God's intervention. The launching was an opportunity for the women to display the day-to-day situation faced by their peers in the Northwest and Southwest region hit by the Anglophone crisis. If, for instance, you have a relative in the Northwest and Southwest region who is no more, will you come out for any event in Cameroon? The insecurity in our country caused the timid turnout. Even though the governor of the littoral region was represented by Madame Galim Gong Iren, the senior divisional officer for the Mongo, while addressing the women, said those who think the events will be boycotted in the littoral region should have a second thought. These ladies, as they launched their day, had the same message to the government.
Aujourd'hui, nous crions très fort pour que l'État nous écoute.
Nous supplions aussi le président Paul Biya. Je pense qu'il est lent à ses réactions.
Aux autres responsables de notre pays. Les femmes pleurent.
The event that was characterized by a march past ended with the visit to the exhibition stands that were made by the women.
And civil society organizations in the Republic of Cameroon are stepping up efforts to restore and promote peace in the country and, of course, prevent conflicts that could occur in the future. And it is within this framework that the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom brought together some young people here in the economic capital, Douala, today, and they were equipped with tools to help in the fight against conflicts or the prevention of conflicts, and also to help restore and promote peace in the country. Immaculate Fokwe has more.
Youths have a great role to play during conflict situations, especially when it concerns the perpetration of violence. The inclusion of young people in peace-building processes is bound to facilitate sustainable peace in a society by directing their energies to promotion of democracy. In a bid to promote youth participation during conflict situations, the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom Cameroon held a seminar in the economic capital, Douala, to drill youths on how to facilitate sustainable peace in the society.
Take them to go home knowing that the youth have a power, and with that power they can strongly contribute to building social cohesion in Cameroon. So because we know that most of them, they have power, but when we look at the social media, for example, they use it instead to send messages of hate. We want them to use this opportunity, their strong power, to rather build peace inside their community. And their presence in the social media is an added value that they can use, an opportunity that they can use instead to build social cohesion, to build peace in the communities.
She further adds that their choice of youth is because of their vulnerability during conflict periods.
The youth because, first of all, they constitute the main part of the population. And the country has been having so many challenges, security challenges. And when we look at these challenges, we see the youth at the center of this. They perpetrate acts of violence. Each time there is a problem, most of the time we find youth inside all the situations. So we feel that the place of the youth should not be in making violence, in contributing to violent extremism. The youth, considering their power, must use it instead to build social cohesion.
One of the youth who took part in the event used the occasion to call on her other peers to join them by using social media as a medium of promoting peace and not violence.
You can see in Buea, children cannot more go to school because there's no school, there's no way. There's just war everywhere. So I will invite most of the youth to come and know how the situation is going worse and know through social network how they can play a role in peacemaking and war. Let us just stop it.
The enhancement of structures that promote the participation of youth in peace-building processes will actively contribute to young people's engagement in decision-making and activities that affect their well-being.
It is usually said that what a man can do, a woman can do, and even better. And coming up, we're going to tell you the fascinating story of a Tanzanian woman who is using ball juggling to make a living. She is putting food on her table and sending her 2 children to school with that activity, and she has been traveling across the continent. She is traveling around Africa, showcasing her Sosa ball juggling skills as a way to feed her family. The video clips of the Tanzanian woman have gone viral on social media and is captivating the hearts of many people on the African continent and beyond. One of the clips of Hadara Charles Njeje caught the attention of United States President Donald Trump, who tweeted, I quote, "Amazing."
aweze kunipa msaada kwa familia yangu pia. Sababu nimesema nina watoto.
I wish he'd help me feed my family. I have 2 children and elderly parents. They all rely on me for help. I wish he'd help me boost my talent so that I can be known across the world and earn more money.
She began sharpening her ball juggling skills when she was a teenager in Tanzania, playing for a local women's football team. Hadara maneuvers the ball with her feet, head, chest, and shoulders. For the past 6 years, the single mother of 2 sons has been using the skills to raise money to feed her family.
This helps me paying school fees for my 2 children, buying food to feed my family, and also paying for household bills and other needs.
Hadara charges $4 for a 2-minute performance and earns between $45 to $50 a day. She has so far traveled to several African countries, including Cameroon, Burundi, Gabon, and Malawi. In Malawi, her skills captivated national women's football officials who thought of bringing her into their Women's Social Development Program, but she declined the offer.
If she was ready to impart the skills with others, I think we would explore all the other options. I would liaise with the teams and see how best we can utilize her talent to impact, especially the youngsters who are just starting.
Her skills have also overwhelmed male footballers.
This is a rare talent for women to juggle the ball, as this lady is doing. I would be very grateful if she would teach me such skills.
The amazing Tanzanian woman has dismissed allegations that she's using black magic to develop her skills. What an amazing story. Coming up next, Talking Point. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us in Talking Points. We are receiving Sylvie NDONGMO. She is the president of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom with Cameroon, and she's also the Africa representative of that organization. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Babilao. Thank you for inviting me, and good evening to all Equinoxe televiewers.
What do you think about Hadara, the Tanzanian woman?
I was really amazed to see her performance. She's really marvelous. But the program ended by saying she's using black magic. Let other people use also black magic to perform. It's just nice, and people are not just very happy about it. For me, I think she's really doing very well.
Yeah, some people had been commenting and saying that she's using black magic, but she dismissed that allegations, simply indicating that she's
I don't think she's
just
really performing, and
and
you can
bringing
see
out
it.
her talents.
No, I think she's a very excellent player, and you can all see it. No, not many women are able to do that. Even some men are not able to do what she's able to do.
All right. Today, you brought together some young people here in the economic capital, Douala.
Yeah.
And you are an international peace crusader. What were you teaching them? What were you telling them?
The training that we had today concerned youth from 5 different regions. And the aim was to train them in having tools in conflict prevention and peace building. We feel that when we look at the environment, which is very fragile in Cameroon, we feel that the youth are at the center of some terrorist activities and violent extremism. And whether from the military or from the armed group, the majority of these people are youth. We feel that these youth are being manipulated for some of them, and for others, their unemployment, the fact that they have not access to basic necessity, push them to be able to be used in all these violent extremism situations. So the training of today was aiming at really supporting the youth in changing their mindset, in using their potential to rather play a different role, that of peace builder. We feel that there is strong power, and they can use this power instead of going into this act of violence, but instead of building peace. Of course, we know that youth are not doing it because they are happy, but we also told the youth that they can ask for social justice. They can shout for it, but using non-violent methods. So that's why we gathered the youth today to advise them and to also tell them that in 2015, the United Security Council adopted a resolution on youth peace and security, which calls for government effort in supporting them in taking peace initiatives. So that was essentially what we were discussing.
Now, apart from advising them, apart from giving them some guidelines, what are some of the tools, some of the practical tools that you're giving them, which they can use to prevent conflicts, to help in the prevention of conflicts, and also to restore peace and of course promote peace?
Today was the second training, for example, in the first 1 month. One of the things that is going to happen from tomorrow, that came out of this training, from tomorrow 6 and then 7 and 8, 3 days, you are going to have a social media campaign conducted by the youth on social media, sharing messages of peace, responding to hate messages by peace messages. You know, youth now, for one reason or the other, are either sharing this message, are involved in these hate messages. But now, we told them the dangers of them, like maybe sharing a hate message. We're able to take a case of a situation where a hate message or a fake message was able to destroy a whole village. So it's about giving them tools, that mediation tool, dialogue, non-violence, because it's about how can they ask the same thing in the other way, by using non-violent methods, by being more tolerant, by using mediation, by using reconciliation, by forgiving as well, because it's mainly about being able to know that somebody has done wrong, but choosing a non-violent method to say, I'm not happy with what you have done to me.
Did some of the youths come from the northwest and southwest regions?
Today we had two people from the southwest. The training we had in Yaoundé 3 weeks ago, we had people from the northwest. So today we had people coming from the southwest.
And those of them who are from the northwest, apart from those who are attending the workshop, who are getting the knowledge, who are getting the advice and everything directly from you, those who are on the ground in those two regions, what will you tell them?
Of course, we will tell them. It's because we can
those
tell
who
them.
Are caught in between the fire, the gun battles and everything that is happening there.
That's why the message is very clear. We have to, all of us, know that, ask ourselves the question, how can we contribute to put an end to this? It's not about trying to revenge. No, we tell them it's about trying to forgive, and sitting down together and talking about all these issues. Today we had this lady that came from the Southwest, for example, was very happy because she said that there was a situation in 2016. She was in the class in the university, and then there was this shout. People started running helter-skelter. She too ran, including all the lecturers. At the end, they discovered that it was a fake message. So we are telling them to be very vigilant. Of course, to take their security very seriously.
And many of them are involved in the fights going on in the northwest and in the southwest regions of the country. Many of them are carrying guns. What will you tell those ones who are carrying guns, who are in the bushes and so on?
Yes, we are telling them that the violence can never be a solution to a problem. No, it's not possible. Violence brings violence. So we are telling them, no matter what happens, to try and be calm and use other methods. There is no way in the world that violence can be a solution to another type of violence.
All right.
We are asking them just to call for, not to be tired, for calling for peace, and that's why we are supporting them, calling other people to support the voices of those who are standing for these people suffering in the northwest and southwest.
All right, women are divided over the celebration of the 34th edition of the International Women's Day. Some are saying we're not going to celebrate, we won't buy any fabric because of the situation in the northwest and the southwest regions of the country. And others think, no, we should go and celebrate and request for our rights and demand for our rights. Boycotting is not going to help in any way. What's your stand?
I will say that celebration for me has never been about buying a fabric. I never buy a fabric. I never. Because the fabric does not add anything to my life. And I'm very annoyed because in Cameroon, for example, those women who have the fabric are those who are able to buy. And those who are unable to buy, do everything to buy and spend a lot of money in buying, in sewing it. No, I'm not okay with it. The question is, when you have the fabric, what does it add to your situation? Does it bring more food to your children? Does it give you access to the hospital? No, I don't think that's not the purpose.
Should this edition be celebrated or not?
It should be celebrated the way it started, the history started, about discussing about the women's situation in general. What are the results so far? What are the way forward? It's not about dancing and jumping, no. It's about questioning the role of the women in the society.
And of course, the situation of the women in the northwest and southwest regions of the country who are suffering because of the crisis. Thanks, Sylvie NDONGMO. You are the president of WIF Cameroon and the Africa representative of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today.